Alright, we're back, part 2. So now I'm working on the rear frame brackets. Alright, so this is the bracket at the back side for the 4 link. So this one's got 4 pockets. Alright, now there's a few angles here that we had to figure out. So the rail sits like this and it runs parallel with this line here. That line's obviously cut on a bit of an angle. In the instructions, I'll put a photo up after, but it shows that if we run this line there, this angle in here is 100 degrees. So basically, to figure this one out, it's fairly basic. It's parallel. That's 180 degrees minus the 100 here, so that should be 80. I just used my little angle things, and I eyed it up off the scale drawing and then used my digital angle finders and to double check, and it came up 80 degrees. So I'm pretty happy with that, and I'm happy that scale and doing it that way is gonna be able to figure out the angle, because the problem is I'm not real sure what this angle is here, and there's probably some way I can figure it out, but the easiest way, I just eyed this up. I just put this like this, sort of just eye it up as best I can, then chuck it. These digital angle finders, just put it on there, I'll zero it out, and then just check the other side, and yeah, it's like roughly 60 degrees. I think I've knocked it out a little bit. I checked it before, it was 60, but that's how I find it. So this is about 60 degrees, this angle here. To find the distance, we've got a measurement 2.432 inches. Sorry, 10.43 inches. Convert that, ends up being about 265 mil. But that looks like it's from this point to this point. So so I've marked this out. So basically what I've done, I've started here with my 80 degrees, measured across, measured the 265, squared it off, and then I've got my angle, so I started from here and then just drew the line up, and that should be pretty good, I'm hoping. And then I'm just gonna have to take measurements. I'll just scale. I'll just use the scale ruler to measure the distance from here for this pocket, and most of the rest of the stuff. I can see the height for this section is 6.3, or 6 3/4 inch, but I'll just focus on this first bottom bracket first. It's very similar to what I just built last video, just with the addition of this extra backer here, and a little bit more difficult in that there are a few angles that we're going to deal with. So that's it. I'll square all this off, mark it all up, I'll cut it, and I'll be back. Alright, so I've cut this out. So you can see I've got our angles, I've cut out the pocket. I've got to clean it all up, but I've just marked out. So this is the top, this is where this top bracket's going to be laid out. So it's the same measurement as all the rest of the pockets, so I know with 6 mil it's around 80 mil. If I go there, it'll give me just a rough measurement, and then I use a spacer like I did last video to just get the exact width. So I've got a rough measurement there, so in here. So same thing goes, basically same as last time. It's just going to be put the pockets here, a hole here so I can run the through bolt, drill it. I won't spend too much time on this because it's all in the last video. So I'll just I'll make it up and come back when I've completed this section, and then we'll get on to this harder bit, which is going to be this upper. Right, so I've welded up the pockets in this, and I just cut this out of the same box section as this. The inside diameter is fairly close to the spacer. This is only 4mm thick. The plans say it's 4.7, probably closer to 5mm, but I think this should be okay. I'm gonna have to fill up a little section here because it wasn't quite enough. But yeah, so I've just got it tacked in. I'll weld her up and we'll go from there. Fill this one in. Pretty basic, just like the last, very much similar to the last one. Yeah, so that's it. Alright, so I've finished off this piece. I've got cut all the access points in. It's all fixed up, welded. And I've ground it back ready for welding onto the unibody. So now I've got, this is the frame stiffener. That's 4mm as well. Plans say 5, but it seems really heavy, so I think 4's fine. I think 5 is overkill, to be honest, but so I'm going to go 4mm. I've used 75x50 RHS. On the plans you can see here the unibody sort of drops down a bit towards the front. This is towards the front. There is a 100-degree angle, so this is going to sit. Sorry. So that's why this should be parallel with this cut. So it sort of will sit like that and go like that towards the back. Now you can see here, ended up being about 775 from short side to the outside. Now I sort of figured out where it drops down by just using the scale ruler, lining it up, and you can sort of see it's around 90 on here. So it's a 5:1 scale. So 90 times 5, I think it's about 450. So it's 450. Starts dropping down. I've measured this up. It's about, I think it looks at 12. So it looks like about 60. So 12 times 5, 60 up, and it ends up being 70, coming back 75mm this way. And we can see it sort of drops off about 15. Starts coming up around about 15mm. So that's 15 times 5, ends up being 75. And then we just join them two bits, and that gives us our angle that I need to cut. So I'm going to cut that, grind all this back, grind this back, and maybe go look at tacking this up onto the unibody. Alright, we'll be back. Alright, so I've sort of tacked this across this frame stiffener. Sort of see. Just tacked it up for now. I'll come back and weld it up for you once I'm happy that that's in the right position. So I'll be back. Okay, so I'm sort of setting up this mount. I've tacked it in one position. I'm just trying to get it lined up. So I've just used a laser level, and I can see it sort of, see it's running along with that, and we can see down the end there it's sort of I've got to put a spacer down the end there, but it's sort of to the edge of the control arm, so that shows it's pretty much in line. So I don't want it twisting, because we'll wear the bushes of the control arms out. I'll get it in, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to tack that up where it is. See, it's close, but there's no touching. Yeah, so that's where we're at. I'll tack that up and we'll come back. Alright, so I've got these mounts tacked up here, and a mount tacked up there, and I've just tacked in these cross members, you can see. So they're just tacked up in the moment, because I want to wait till I get the springs in and just double check that these arms are in line. Like you can see, oh, sorry, you can see it sort of looks fairly close to being in line. Same as that, you can sort of eye it up, looks pretty close. I just want to be extra sure before I fully weld everything. So before I fully weld all the way around there, a little loose around, just a little on here, and that should really strengthen this up. And later on I'm going to use this to mount my rock sliders on. So that should be nice and thick, and also a bit under protection. Of just drilled a few holes in the bottom of this just so it can drain out each side. So that's basically it for now. I'm sort of stuck. I'm waiting on all the control arm joints, and also my springs and shocks, because I want to put it on the springs so I can make sure everything lines up. I'm going to have to cut these off. Yeah, same as on this side. Cut the mounts off, which basically signifies the point of no return once I do that. So I've pulled the engine out, gives me a bit of room to work under here, which is good. Yeah, so that's where I'm at the moment. A bit of a standstill until my shocks and all the rest of the parts arrive. So that'll be it for video 2, and once I get everything going, I'll get on to the next video. Alright, peace.